ring. I feel like it'll be a little entertaining. I don't know how long he's gonna last in with these big shots coming at him. But hey, only time will tell. You know, I'm not here to hype that shit. Not even my business. That's somebody else fish to fry. Yeah. You know, I got my own fish to fry.
Terence Crawford is not going to do anything with Canelo Alvarez. Terence Crawford, yes, he's good. He's a 4-division world champion, 2-division undisputed, but he couldn't even hurt Madrimov.
It's that they think that Canelo is easy work because of the fact that he's flat-footed and he just kind of like, he does basic, I would say. He has basic skills, but he's really good at those basic fundamental skills.
Charlo breaks down why he's confident Canelo defeats Terence Crawford. His main argument centers on whether Crawford can endure the punishing shots that will inevitably land. Charlo stresses that Crawford is already jumping weight classes to face Canelo, making the test even more daunting. He insists the fight hinges on how Crawford handles Canelo's relentless pressure and power across 12 rounds. Analysts also note Crawford struggled to seriously hurt Madrimov, a fighter nowhere near Canelo's caliber. While Crawford dazzled against Errol Spence, Canelo is an entirely different beast, active, younger, and established as living legend.
That never got in the ring with anything like a Terence Crawford. That never got in the ring with a former champion, with an elite fighter. He couldn't hurt. He couldn't hurt Madrimov. Canelo Alvarez is no Errol Spence, ladies and gentlemen. I know that some of y'all are hyped because what Terence Crawford did an incredible performance and an incredible job versus Errol Spence that was supposed to be the big fish, and he turned the big fish into tuna fish on your outline, on your local supermarket. Canelo Alvarez is not Errol Spence. Canelo Alvarez is not Amir Khan. Canelo Alvarez is not Cobra. Canelo Alvarez is not Gamboa. Canelo Alvarez is not Felix Diaz. Canelo Alvarez is not Sean Porter. Canelo Alvarez is none of those guys, ladies and gentlemen. Canelo Alvarez is none of those guys. Canelo Alvarez is not the mean machine. Canelo Alvarez is Canelo Alvarez, regarded as one of the greats, and not just the Mexican greats. I don't like how y'all like try to put it. Oh no, he's the best Mexican, just because you don't want to say that he's one of the greatest that ever laced him up. Canelo Alvarez is one of the greatest that ever laced him up. Has carried the sport of boxing on his shoulders. And let me say it like this, leading up to the fight, Canelo Alvarez is more active than Terence Crawford. Canelo Alvarez is more seasoned than Canelo Alvarez is more seasoned than Terence Crawford. He's younger than Terence Crawford. He's more active than Terence Crawford. His resume is better than Terence Crawford. The people that he's fought is better than Terence Crawford. He's fought every damn style. He's fought the best Russians at the time with Kovalev. He fought the best Asian in Kazakhstan and Triple G.
Kell Brook explains his preference for Canelo Alvarez in a showdown with Terence Crawford. He argues Canelo is unlike anyone Crawford has encountered before. Although Crawford's win over Errol Spence was historic, it does not prepare him for Canelo's strength, experience, and control in heavier weight divisions. Brook emphasizes that Crawford has never faced someone with Canelo's unique blend of ring IQ, power, and versatility. For him, this matchup is by far the most dangerous challenge of Crawford's entire career.
He's got to sway towards Canelo. Crawford's gonna have to, move up, and I knew when I bought Golovkin, there's a big difference, especially with someone that, fighting the middleweight, a mediocre world champions, it's okay. But when you're fighting someone like, Canelo or Golovkin, it's a different kettle of fish, I have to lean towards Canelo, but Crawford's very, very, very good.
You think Crawford's still got the legs? Obviously, he's very much got great IQ in the ring, but he's very much a good mover as well. Do you feel like he's still got the legs to be maybe outmoving Canelo if he needs to?
Well, I don't know. I think when we look back at Mayweather when he beat Canelo, he's a mover. Crawford's not really like Mayweather in that aspect. He's more, he kind of sets his feet. He's cute with how he approaches chucking shots and moving. You know what I mean? I think it's a different fight to Mayweather, and Canelo's obviously a different fighter from when he boxed me.
experts continue spotlighting the key factor in a clash between Canelo Alvarez and Terence Crawford: durability. Can Crawford truly absorb Canelo's thunderous power, punches that have broken down so many before? Critics may label Canelo flat-footed, but insiders insist his style is intentional, built on balance and timing to maximize every strike. Crawford's defense and movement might delay damage, but Canelo's patience guarantees he'll find openings. The ultimate test is whether Crawford can remain composed when the bombs start landing. Many analysts believe the fight's outcome hinges less on punch counts and more on Crawford's ability to withstand punishment.
I think that Crawford may be too small to really impact and hurt Canelo Alvarez. He's moving up pretty much 3 weight classes, which is exactly what I said. I'm not counting 154. He had 1 fight, bro. He had 1 fight. Floyd Mayweather got more fights at 54 than Terence Crawford. Woo! Because Crawford, he fought Madrimov. Floyd fought De La Hoya, Cotto, and then he fought Canelo at 152. So you had an aging Floyd who fought more times at the higher weight class, and Bud looks to be a bigger dude than Floyd Mayweather, right? So when Floyd was 37, he moved to 52 and fought a much bigger Canelo. Crawford's 37, he fighting Madrimov with 11 fights. Not the same. It's not. I don't care what y'all talking about. The Bud Buddies just gonna have to be mad at me because truth is truth. So that's a valid question. And again, I'll be glad when this fight's over. Put it that way. I don't care who wins. May the best man win. I hope it's a double knockout. I already told y'all. Just because I'm just over it, and I want to get back to some of the other fights. There's other fights that are interesting, and they make more sense. Like Brian Norman, Devin Haney. I'm interested in Yard versus Benavidez, etc. There's some fights we're hearing about, blah, blah, blah. So I'll be glad when this is over, to be 100% honest. There's more fights that actually fans have been requesting that matter, blah, blah, blah. But Rosado, he brought up a lot of good points. He was saying Crawford, he thinks he's too small, and he even gave his own personal experience. He said, like, I'm like 180, 190 solid, and when I fight guys that are welterweights, even if they crack and they're known for being like menacing, murderous punchers at the lower weight classes, 140, 147, them moving up, it feel like pillows when they fight me. When I get hit with their punches, it feel like pillows because I'm used to getting hit by triple, right? He used to Triple G work. He used to Lemieux work. So when you, I mean, to me, this is kind of common sense, but common sense ain't that common.
Crawford's destruction of Errol Spence is remembered as one of boxing's most flawless showcases. That night, he displayed blistering speed, razor accuracy, sharp defense, and ruthless finishing instincts. He dismantled a man once regarded as the welterweight king, and did it with shocking ease. For many, that night solidified Crawford's greatness. Now his camp insists he looks sharper than ever, fast hands, elite reflexes, and incredible conditioning. Despite being older, he seems more focused, more refined, and even hungrier. Witnesses of his training believe he's in peak form. That edge and confidence might be the one thing that tips the scales against Canelo.
Crawford gonna be able to take Canelo's punches, and is Canelo gonna be skilled enough to not keep on getting banged up by Crawford and his craftiness? It's like, you know, the battle of two greats, you know what I mean? So I believe that Canelo, you really see him, when you see him fight, he almost like got a one-way of style, and it works for him. He likes to get in there and bang you up. He likes to throw hard punches. He likes to break you down. He likes to hit you everywhere. You're gonna hit in your body, your arms, the forehead, the ear, the neck. Wherever he can land a good one, he's gonna land it, and that usually breaks him down. So with some fighters, I see is that they think that Canelo is easy work because of the fact that he's flat-footed, and he just kind of like, he does basic, I would say. He has basic skills, but he's really good at those basic fundamental skills. He does everything almost like perfect. But yeah, he's flat-footed.
5. Former middleweight champion Kelly Pavlik shared a blueprint on how Crawford could topple Canelo. His advice: dominate the early rounds. Pavlik stresses Crawford cannot let Canelo dictate pace. Instead, he must rely on footwork combinations and ring IQ to force Canelo into working harder than usual. If Crawford compels him to move, throw, and chase, it drains the Mexican star's gas tank. Pavlik notes Canelo has slowed late in grueling battles, which creates Crawford's opportunity. By applying smart pressure early, Crawford could limit Canelo's late power and potentially steal a decision, or even push for a late stoppage.
Sharper than ever, more dangerous than ever, and most importantly, he looks like the greatest version of himself. Now, can we actually believe this? Can Terence Crawford at nearly 39 years old, with him being inactive, with him being heavier than ever, is it possible that the man will actually look better than ever?
Dan Rafael drew comparisons that highlight Canelo's edge. He explained Canelo has faced and beaten fighters moving up in weight such as Floyd Mayweather, Amir Khan, and Miguel Cotto. Though naturally smaller, they tested him at higher classes, and Canelo proved capable of adjusting to their speed and skill. Crawford, meanwhile, has never met a true natural bigger man with Canelo's level of power. While Crawford's dominance across divisions is unquestioned, stepping into the ring with someone built for heavier divisions is a new mountain to climb. Rafael believes this invaluable experience could hand Canelo a decisive advantage.
Now, let's think about it, ladies and gentlemen. When you're talking about someone like Terence Crawford or Canelo Alvarez, you're talking about the elite of the elite. And if I'm going to be honest, Terence Crawford, when he fought Errol Spence, in my opinion, in all my years of watching combat sports, I'm a MMA guy turned into boxing. But I have never, ever, ever in my life watched an elite championship fight and had my jaw absolutely drop to the floor with the greatness that I witnessed. And that is the only way to describe what Terence Crawford did versus Errol Spence. In my opinion, that was the greatest performance in our lifetime. I mean, I can't go back to the old days, I'm not a historian. But as far as I'm concerned, that was the greatest performance I have ever seen in my life. And especially to who he did it to, Errol Spence. Dangerous southpaw at the time. I believe he was pound for pound number 3. And Terence Crawford absolutely annihilated him.
And Mikey Garcia delivered his prediction with blunt honesty. Canelo can seriously hurt Terence Crawford. Garcia warns that although Crawford is masterful, his defense alone may not be enough against Canelo's sheer power. Garcia focused particularly on body shots, hooks to the ribs, and brutal uppercuts to the midsection that wear opponents down. He sees Crawford as brilliant, but brilliance fades when raw force takes over. Garcia concludes that once Canelo begins landing clean shots, momentum shifts instantly. His comments echo a growing consensus that size and power may simply overwhelm Crawford.
Stay in Canelo's ass a little early on, put Canelo behind, right? Even if it's 3 out of the first 4 rounds, because when Canelo has to fight, okay, when Canelo has to step it up, after 7 rounds, he starts to fade a little bit. We've seen that with Bivol, we've seen it in a lot of his fights with Triple G. You know, when Canelo could control the fight and the ring generalship, like, yeah, he could fight 12 rounds pretty good. But when Canelo gets pushed early on in the fight, he starts to fade muscle endurance-wise. So if I was Crawford, I would kind of stay in his ass a little bit on, you know, the early rounds and make him have to play catch-up in rounds 3, 4, 5. And then by round 7, that's where, you know, he could really step it up.
Antonio, however, painted a more hopeful picture for Crawford. He pointed to Crawford's mental discipline, explaining how Bud visualizes his fights long before fight night. That preparation gives him a psychological edge. He's already rehearsed solutions to Canelo's challenges. Antonio praises Crawford's adaptability, intelligence, and ability to break down opponents. For him, this matchup isn't about weight, it's about skill. If Crawford executes properly, his versatility and ring IQ could neutralize Canelo's physical advantages and swing the fight in his favor.
Dan Rafael kind of made a great point when talking about sizes. Because he said, if you look at them two together now, they look the same size. He said, people have got the idea of the size thing wrong. It's not looking at them as a physical package. It's who has absorbed the bigger shots in the weight division. So, and it was good. It was a very good point. He was like, Canelo has been hit by light heavyweights and super middleweights for the better part of a decade.
Basically.
He's so used to taking those shots, whereas Crawford hasn't. Crawford's been hit by 140 guys and 147 guys for the best part of a decade.
Yeah.
What's Crawford going to be like? So basically trying to say, Canelo could easily absorb Crawford shots. Can Crawford easily absorb Canelo's punches?
If you're taking shots from Triple G, Sergei Kovalev, Dimitri Bivol, and you're staying on your feet, not getting hurt,
not even getting wobbled.
Not even getting wobbled, just literally shaking it off.
Yeah.
You can take Terence Crawford shots.
100%.
Dan Rafael drew comparisons that highlight Canelo's edge. He explained Canelo has faced and beaten fighters moving up in weight such as Floyd Mayweather, Amir Khan, and Miguel Cotto. Though naturally smaller, they tested him at higher classes, and Canelo proved capable of adjusting to their speed and skill. Crawford, meanwhile, has never met a true natural bigger man with Canelo's level of power. While Crawford's dominance across divisions is unquestioned, stepping into the ring with someone built for heavier divisions is a new mountain to climb. Rafael believes this invaluable experience could hand Canelo a decisive advantage.
What happens when he takes a shot from Canelo? One of those uppercuts from Gia or those...
He could get dropped, or he feels it enough to be like, fuck this, I'm boxing. And then goes on the bicycle and turns southpaw for the rest of the night. And I wouldn't blame him either. Fuck it, you're gonna go in there and collect the fucking paycheck at that point.
Right.
You're not gonna go get hurt.
Right.
What good is it to get fucking 20, 30 million if you are fucking hurt physically, end up in the hospital and hurt just physically, life-changing, you don't want that shit.
Do you think Canelo can hurt him with life-changing?
Good, he's that big, fool. One punch could fucking knock him out bad enough to hurt his eye socket or detached retina. You never fucking know.
Right.
So no one wants that shit.
Crawford said if he beats him, he's in the top 3 GOATs of all time.
Oh, for sure. If Crawford beats Canelo, then for sure, you'll motherfucking props in the world, bro. And he actually does have a chance. It's not like he doesn't have a chance. Don't be too surprised if he fucking pulls it off in the decision.
Dan Rafael drew comparisons that highlight Canelo's edge. He explained Canelo has faced and beaten fighters moving up in weight such as Floyd Mayweather, Amir Khan, and Miguel Cotto. Though naturally smaller, they tested him at higher classes, and Canelo proved capable of adjusting to their speed and skill. Crawford, meanwhile, has never met a true natural bigger man with Canelo's level of power. While Crawford's dominance across divisions is unquestioned, stepping into the ring with someone built for heavier divisions is a new mountain to climb. Rafael believes this invaluable experience could hand Canelo a decisive advantage.
Terence got to be Terence, bro. He's a real deep thinker. He processed fights like nobody else. And he's processed this Canelo fight. He's seen it. He went through it 2 or 3 times already. He knows how this ends. You can tell the way he shadow boxes. He visualizing Canelo being right there in front of him. You understand? Look at the movement. That's all you got to do. Look at the movement. And that's the type of master boxer that Canelo is going to be facing. And the only thing I say is Canelo hasn't faced an opponent like this in a long time. You know what I mean? I think Canelo's going to have to go back to the Caleb Plant fight and look that good, that active, that, you feel me, moving with that type of grace to beat Terence Crawford. Because weight ain't going to make the difference. It ain't going to be the weight. It's going to be the skill set.
That's all for today's breakdown. Make sure to subscribe and stay tuned for more explosive boxing content.